Doop, doop, doo. I don't know if that helps the lighting or not. Maybe a little.
At TrueWork, innovative fabrics and intentional design define work pants for every condition. T1 for hot days, T2 for all seasons, T3.
Oh, I got a TrueWork ad running, not sponsored. I don't know if y'all could hear that or not. Not sponsored, but wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't hurt my feelings. See, let's get this here. Make sure y'all can hear me. What's up, Abraham? What's up, Clint? BMCK, Tom, Matt HMM, TPG, Ryan Nargang. I saw some way up there earlier. I think I saw Denny O'Fools at the very beginning, Pie Guy. I think that's got everybody. Or everybody that said something so far. Yeah, I got my MCT bag yesterday, the EVO, MCT EVO. But I was hoping to film a video like whenever I got it. And then, but the UPS guy didn't bring it till really late. And it was like basically right before I was getting ready to go to Bible study. So ended up filming it today, which I had dentist work all day today. I had a couple crowns put on today. And, but it was all like in one session, like they did all the work. And then they can make the crowns in the office where I had the work done. So it's just basically almost a whole day of that. And my mouth has been super numb until about maybe 2 or 3 hours ago. So I'd already been out here kind of playing with it whenever I got home because I didn't schedule any work today. The only thing I did today was I went and I finished a job where I did a exterior door on a garage and retrimmed out the garage door. And then part of it was put on a new doorbell, and they had a video doorbell that they hadn't picked up yet. And they had it. So, and it was real close to where my dentist office was. So as soon as I left the dentist, I went ahead and went over there and did that just so I could go ahead and knock it out and not have to drive all the way out there tomorrow. But then I came home after that and just started playing with that bag. I made that video and I was going like, well, I got a live coming up here in a little bit. Should I even put that video out yet? But I got some other videos I want to do. So they'll end up stacking on top of each other to where I'll have too many. So I decided I'd go ahead and throw it out there. What's up, Douglas? Johnny W. Captain Donitz. I saw somebody ask if where was Vegan Cookies and Gusty Oinker at. Gusty Oinker, I see on. I'm not on Facebook, but I am on Facebook. I'm on there under a fake name for Facebook Marketplace, but I know him on there, and so he's still on Facebook. He's still around. I just don't think he gets on YouTube that much, or I don't see him comment much anymore. Vegan Cookies. I've watched a few of his videos. He does like some like DoorDash and Uber driving and stuff like that, and films that. Now I have a large spot that's dull on the Klein Slim Forged. I'm doing some work today. Take some aspirin, reduces swelling. Yeah, I took some whenever I got home. I'm feeling pretty good. It's not too bad. It was a little bit tender. Like I was starting to worry after the numbness was wearing off. I was like, oh man, this is gonna actually hurt because it's different. Like going and getting a crown put on, like the final one's not a big deal usually because you go like they give you a temporary one, you go back later when they get the one in from the lab, they put that one on. But this is like this place does it all. Like they make the crowns all the same day, so you're getting the work done and doing the stuff like that. Great excuse to not talk to the customer. How you like the new pocket on the EVO? I like the pocket on. I like the thing on the the big pocket. You're probably talking about the big pocket. I think it's gonna be pretty nice. I think going that way bigger, that amount isn't that much of a big deal. I'll go ahead and just show that so y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna make a video, so I'm not gonna talk too much about it tonight. About what all else will fit on this little side dude right here that I have. Like anybody can make that video, but the stuff that I've got. But this pocket right here is one of the main differences. And I was afraid, as I said in that video, like that is a substantially wider bag, than this one. And I love the fact that it's got the pouches on there, but it does make it a lot bigger bag, and fitting it into a tight spot on a truck. Like if you don't have a tight spot on your truck where you stick it, it isn't a big deal. But I have to make sure I have this bag turned this way behind my seats. I can't turn it this way, like between my pack out drawers and my Klein drawers and my back seat. Versus this, I can pretty much move it around any way I want to. But this way, it isn't drastically different and doesn't cause the same problem to me as what that does. And it'll hold quite a bit. It's pretty nice actually. As I said in the video, this right here is the only thing I'm a little leery of. It doesn't feel all that substantial. Like maybe it's meant to feel that way to make it more flexible or something, but I mean, I don't like it as much as I'd just assume they did. I'd rather they just did this on the side of it, and then they're not going to stick out. Like, because while I don't have anything on here, they stick out a little bit, and I think that's when you're going to catch it on something. Versus if they just did this on the side and it still works in there, then it's, if you take them off, you don't have anything blocking anything. But it's like what Clint had said before, whenever me and him were talking about it, is I don't know what else they're going to come out with that might hang on the clip that maybe wouldn't work right here or something. And maybe the height of some of the EVO bags, they could probably, like if they had to, they could shift this down to where something could move up on those clips. Whereas this height's pretty much, which I guess though, if you move that clip, it's going to work the same. So I don't know. But I got the questions. I'll go ahead and knock them out first, so that if anybody's on here watching just specifically for that, you know, you'll get those answers and won't be here till 8 o'clock if that's all you want. So the first one was, is it Wang Got NGO or Wang Ot NGO? You can decide, but will the EVO pouch fit in the outside pocket on the Tech MCT Blackout? So I kind of showed that in the video of that one. So you can take in any of these pockets and still put that clip, and it goes in most of the way, actually, like pretty much all the way. So it's a good spot to hang it. So here's the MCTP. We'll go over here to the Blackout. So you can go here. You can put it in that one, or let's see if it still touches. You wanted to go to the lower one. Yeah, this one, the MP1. Now they start to get bigger. I'm assuming, I don't have any of the other EVOs, but I know that's the way the X's work. The MPXs and all that, they get a little bit longer the bigger the pouch you go to sometimes too. So that one's not touching in the bottom, but you can for sure put it in the top one. So again, if you've already got this bag like what I've got, and you're like, man, I don't really want to buy an EVO bag, you can still, but you like this aspect of the pouch. I don't know what that is, Band-Aid covers. You know, you can just buy the pouch and figure out a way to hook it onto your bags if you want to. Wango Tango must have been taken. Megan's not been checking in on SOALs and tactics either. Yeah, I haven't seen him. He hadn't made comments either. And Ted McDonald, which he's got a different name now. Like he used to always comment. He finally commented on something I had the other day for the first time in a long time. But his name's it's not Ted McDonald anymore. I don't remember what it is. Let me make sure I'm on the. All right. So Jonathan L. Green, now he's usually in here sometimes, but I haven't checked the chat, but he's usually in here in the live. Wondering what the size of the opening for the larger center pocket on the EVO is. I have the MP1X and my crimpers don't fit in the pocket. They're 2 5/7 wide, 1 inch deep, and 6.5 tall, which the tall he says less important. I think I answered him and gave him measurements, but I was going to go ahead and show it here, because the measurements are a little bit hard. And I mentioned, and the reason why I said that was in the video, you know, the MP1 is, this pocket here is a lot smaller than that of the EVO. I didn't never have the MP1X, so I don't know if they changed any from this to that, but this is quite a bit bigger than this one. And in a way that the way I normally carry my tools, it's almost a little bit too big, like because it's going to make your stuff move around. But it's hard to give you that measurement. I gave him kind of some ideas because it's almost like a half a circle. So even though it's roughly about 3 inches at the widest point, about an inch and a half at the deepest point. But you got to factor in, that's not what the whole tool area is going to be. It's not like it's 3 by an inch and a half square. It's got a little bit of a, moon shape to it. And then the depth is 6.5 inches, a little less than 6.5. I'd call it like 6.25. But it also probably depends on how fat your tool is down there, because that gets a little bit skinnier too. So that's a hard dimension to give, and I don't have a pair of, I know if he's talking about those one kind of Klein crimpers, I don't think he's talking about the automatic ones, because there's no way those would fit in any of those. But, there's a pair of lineman pliers. And the magnet, in this magnet here also kind of, holds your tool too. You can almost feel it holding that in there like that. So you got to kind of pull a little bit to get that out. That magnet kind of goes through. That might change a little bit if you've got something clipped around it or something, but it shouldn't, because really you're not ever going to be in between the two magnets. So that's something I just noticed, that I finally felt it whenever I stuck a bigger, thicker tool down in there. I could feel that magnet kind of pulling on it. There's Jonathan. What's up, Carlos? 5 to 7 inches, question mark. Jar lid half circles are the way to give tangible measurement. I'm sure you can ask AI if I've got a 3-inch and then a, inch and a half, and it's kind of circle shaped or half circle shaped. Let me see what the next one is. I'm Jonathan, are you talking about like the hand crimpers? Is that what you're talking about? Like a pair of pliers crimpers that are Kleins? You're not talking about the automatic ones, are you? Because I don't think there's any way the automatic ones would fit in any of those. I can go get my automatic ones out of the truck, but I don't think that, I'm pretty sure they won't fit. See what the next one was. Yeah, this was James Ridley, 1437. He's in here sometimes. Are they using the earth magnet in it? Does it seem strong if you did put a lot of weight on it? I like the new style. I told him it's pretty stout, doesn't come off stuff very easily. It did, the packaging, all it was a little cardboard thing. It didn't say anything, and I didn't go read the specs or anything, so I don't know if they stress what kind that it is. It does have on here, let's see if I can get that to be clear, 5 pounds max, and you can kind of see like it got it falling, like that's for the magnet. 2.3 kilograms max, so that's kind of a weight limit on it. But I mean, it's stout. Like, to pull that off, I got to really put some pressure on that to get that to break apart. Kind of reminds me of a Holstery Magmaster, like how stout that is, and that's the same way as far as let's see, sticking it on something. And like, this is going to matter because it's the same way with a Holstery magnet. Like, this is pretty decent steel, like it's pretty thick. So, but I mean, it's not going to come just falling down, and you're not going to be able to put a ton of weight in this anyways. But the fact that if it only had that one magnet on it here, and that somehow was all it did, I think you'd have a problem. But since it's got the two, I think it's going to go. I don't know what I could really stick in there that would be, I mean, you can't really fit a lot in this to make it heavy, in all honesty. because the pocket holes, and I don't really have anything to just hang on it that's heavy either. But I mean, I can press it like that and move it. But like I said, the amount of tools you put in there, if it's under 5 pounds, which it should be, you're not going to be able to put anything in there. That's crazy. It ain't coming off. Unless, like I said, unless you put it on some kind of metal that's super thin and it doesn't allow, and it's real slick, or what, it's got a lot of oil on it or something, you would have a problem. And I like, which somebody brought that. Let me. Let me find that one. Here's what somebody else said before I say that, because that answers one of the questions. Let me find it. Oh, yeah. Please don't track me. Said, could you load this pouch up and do a drop test to see if that plastic clip holds up? And I answered it back and said, no, I'm not going to break my pouch for stupidness. It's like, the only way you would know the answer if yours is going to break is if you put the same exact tools in here, drop it from the same exact height, and it lands exactly the same, and mine so happens to break, then chances are that yours might, and on the same surface, it's like, there's no way to test that. But is this thing stout? I mean, this is made out of some kind of I don't think this is the kind of plastic that's going to shatter. And I think if it goes to fall, chances are it's either gonna, like, if it's in any way not just open like this, if it's anywhere like this while it's falling, I think it's probably gonna end up shutting, like, and fold like that, to where it's not gonna land on some kind of, because I think the only way it's gonna break is if it so happens all the way to this pouch just so happens and this lands like this, and it's gonna break at this hinge point or something like that. But I don't think it's gonna break any easier than, something else would, other than like a metal clip that's just metal. That's obviously not gonna break. This would break a little more than that, but I don't see it like happening. And I also don't typically drop my pouch that's tucked onto my belt from, you know, 30 feet in the air either. So, but I'm not gonna test it because I'm not gonna risk breaking my $100 pouch that I bought. The compact ones. Klein RJ45 crimpers. I don't have a Klein pair of those. So you're talking about like the data crimpers. I've got a pair of crimpers like that. They're not Klein, but I'm trying to think of where I got them though. They might actually be in here. Let me see if I got those in here. I'll see if they fit. They're probably, but I know mine aren't the compact ones though either. If yours is, let me see which ones I've got, because I just have a pair that I use every so often. I don't do that very much, so I didn't buy a fancy pair. I think mine's Southwire. So I got a pair of Southwire ones like that, which these aren't necessarily considered compact ones, but those fit in there. Pretty good actually. And they probably won't fit in this one. Yeah, you'd have to force it in there, and you're gonna not like getting those in and out, but they go in there drastically easier. So, and these are probably bigger. If yours is the compact ones, yours might be I'm trying to think of what those are. I think those are the ones that look more like a different shape than these, but only a matter of time before people use 3D printers to make those accessories. Yeah. But in all reality, for the most part, there's not a lot of places that you can't clip this, which is another question that I've got. Let me see my phone. I'll go ahead and bring that question up because I'll answer that here too. Let's see what I got. Yeah. Kevin Rodriguez asked, I don't know if anyone's asked, but would like to know the dimensions of the magnetic flap. I was wondering if I can attach it to my 1819 Atlas vest at one of the side loops, or I'll have to attach it to the pocket. And I gave him the measurement of the width is 2 7/8. And I told him I so happen to have that vest. So I can tell you for 100% that it does, which there's my, I guess I'll get my 1819 since that's what he's got, but it's the same as my 1824. But a lot of the places you can fit that magnetic clip are the same places you can fit any of the other ones, with the exception of like hanging it off of something. Like I can take my clip off of my MPX, like I just hung it off that. You can't do that on the EVO. Or I could even hang it off of a D-ring or something if I really wanted to. You know, you can do that. And like the edge of my crescent cart, you can hook that on the lip of something. So small things are the only thing that's going to be the difference. So it's kind of the width is what matters. I'm gonna fight with this zipper again. I haven't got the hang of this one because I haven't really worked it much. It's getting it in that second one. So here's the what you can see, I got that magnetic one on there, but here's the side loop that he's talking about. And again, this is 2 7/8. So as long as you've got a 2 7/8, so that fits in there and folds down. So then you have the pouch right there. And then the other question that I was asked that's kind of along those lines was from APAL 880. He said, I saw some people saying it hangs too high on their waist. Can you speak to that? And it is a little bit higher on your belt. And I'll show you that with an MP pouch in this. Let me go ahead and get my belt and get this off so you can see it on my belt, which would be the same difference even here. This is higher on this loop than what an X pouch is too. So if I put an EVO on my belt and an MPX, and it's because like your EVO clip is kind of starting, the hinge point's about right here, whereas on all the other ones they put the clip up on these a little higher, so it is going to fit differently. So you can kind of see the difference of my pliers are down here and those same pliers up in there are up here. So that is quite a bit of difference. Probably at least, I'm gonna call it a little less than that screwdriver handle. I'm gonna call it about a 2 1/4 inch difference probably, which I can measure that here and tell you for sure. Because it's going to be basically, if we line up the fold part, like where the actual hinge is, which is about right there. Yeah, about 2 1/2 inch difference, somewhere between 2 1/4 and 2 1/2 inches higher as far as how it's going to sit on your waist. So if you're used to an MPX pouch, and you kind of like where it sits, that might be something that you're gonna have to get used to. And see, like I was saying in the in the EVO video, and what I said a minute ago about those things on the side, it's like the fact that these work with, you know, the SPLD, like I can stick these in here and that work there, and then it also works in the SPMC. I would have personally, I'd rather they just did the bags and made it like this, and then that way, if I'm not carrying a pouch, I just don't have anything hanging off the side of my bag. But there are some things that hang on that though that I'm going to show in the next video. There's not a lot of things that I have that does, but there is one thing that's pretty nice. but it also still works on this as well too. Now, whether or not, again, I don't feel like that plastic on there doesn't feel very substantial to me, and I would imagine it would take a lot of weight to rip that stitching out. So I don't know. I don't know what's the better way to go, but I love the fact that they fit these. Like, if I wouldn't have necessarily wanted the Evo bag, like I mean, that right there is nice. Like us, and then you take it off, nothing. What would I say? Stronger upholstery or Evo? I don't. Them upholstery magnets are pretty stout. What I do with the one I had? Yeah, I don't. I mean, yeah, definitely the upholstery. Again, the strength in this is 2 points, and one of them down here where your tools are. That's where the hanging strength is. That you really got two magnets. The two magnets come together to hold it on whatever, but whenever you're actually hanging it on something, it's like you got two. So versus just one if you do the clip method. Buy one and break it. Is that another clip on the back of the EVO magnet clip? Is that another clip on the back of the EVO magnet clip? No, it's just a shape. It looks like it, but it's kind of just a shape. I see what you're saying. That kind of looks like it's a clip that you could clip on something, but no, it's just some detail that they put in there, probably to give it some strength or something. Actually, I think that's a. So this is a. There's a piece of metal. I can see the metal in there, and right there, and that's probably metal. And this is just in case. So it's probably a metal like hinge and all that kind of stuff, kind of cased in that. Uh, what like I said, it's some form of a plastic, but it's definitely like a flexible, like not rigid. Like it's a very nice plastic. I don't think it's a cheap plastic. Will a nutty bar fit? Nutty bars will fit anywhere. That's why you will need to buy MPX pouches and EVOs also. Let's see. I think I got one more question. I think. Seems like I do. Let me see. Earth magnet, MP, blackout. Yeah, see this one. One more question, then I'll get caught up. This was Elliot Parrish. How do your Kinepix electrical installation pliers fit in that center pouch on the MP1X? They fit, but it's tight and hard to get them in and out. So I've got my comfort grip ones in here. I don't think it would be a much different fit between them and the dip grips, but so I'm assuming he means the center pouch. He's talking about this one, and they fit. But what it is those little nubs. Like if you get I'm gonna go grab actually they might be in here. Let me see if my dip grip ones are in here. I think my comfort grip forged wire strippers are what's in here. Let me look in my truck because I think the dip grip will slide in and out of them no matter what. But it's the little extra little nubs there on the grips. I believe I keep those in here. I could be wrong. I might have to ponder on where I've got those. I had them the other day out. I don't remember what I did with them now. Dipped electrical installation pliers. Where are you? I'm gonna look one spot downstairs. I had them out doing something with them the other day, and I don't think I put them back up. No. I'll have to find those. Well, in any event, that's the dip grip ones fit a lot better in that pouch, but mine's been broken in to where mine come in and out even a little bit. I mean, they come out and out of there easy, but they come out of there because these were the first ones I bought, and I ran them in this pouch specifically for a long time. But this one's not broke in yet, and like you can see, they don't want to go in there hardly at all. And again, I didn't have the MP1X. I don't know if anything's changed between the two, but I think that's the same size pocket. This one's just been broken in, and this one's tight. And then there they are. Like again, this pouch is almost so big that it just swallows pliers. They move around a lot more than what they do in this one. So that's why I was saying it's nice that it's bigger, but then again, it's going to make your pliers kind of jiggle more. But yeah, those are good there. So you should be able to eventually get yours to be that way if you train the pockets some. And I wish I knew where my I can't for the life of me think of where I could have swore I kept them in a. They've got to be in one of my pouches or something somewhere. But the dip grip ones are a lot easier to put in any pocket. That's why I prefer dip grips. Or part of the reason why I prefer dip grips. But I think that's the last question that I had, like as far as in the comment section. Now, if y'all got anything, you can ask. You could watch me do that all night long. Find it like the now these I know I've got them. I had them just the other day, but I can't think of where I had them. I don't think I got any tools in this. I was using them for something, and I was actually trying them and something like that. Oh, I think let me see if they're my SC45. No, not in that either. I was trying them in something, and it's something I don't use all the time, but I don't remember what I did with them now. But I normally keep them in a drawer in my truck. Maybe this is them. Yep, there they are. I was seeing if they fit in there. So, like, even you saw how tight those were versus them. It's like boom, without even training your pouch. You know, those go all day. It's this right here. I mean, you can even fit these over in the pass through. Versus that ain't gonna happen with the comfort grips. Matter of fact, these are probably gonna go right here. And this. It's where they gonna live. But I probably actually will. Now that I'm doing this, I'm gonna go ahead and stick these dudes in here though. Let that start stretching. Drink every time I leave the screen. Lexi had something happen, but I missed whatever was above. Wear a Vera Tool Check Plus or the Klein Connect S. I feel like the Klein Connect S is a better all around set. If it's around the same, it's not much of a difference. The price is pretty comparative too. Now the Tool Check Plus is obviously a little bit smaller, but I mean, I don't know that it's drastically smaller. Do I got my Tool Check in here? Let me see if I got my tool check in here. I think I do. I think it's in my vest. No, I don't either. Yeah, I do. Right. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. Yeah, let's see. I mean, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot, smaller package. Tool Check Plus and Connect S is going to be in my truck. Y'all make me do another field trip. Somebody's got to get a drink out if you're doing one every time I do a field trip. But it's bigger, but you're getting metric and SAE both. You're not going to get that on your tool check unless you buy two of them. But it's like right there's the difference in the size. But you're getting a real screwdriver handle, a real ratchet, all that stuff, metric, SAE, and the ability to have pass through and the ability of all that stuff. But it is two different type of tool sets. I mean, that one's for a little bit smaller, more detailed work, I guess, maybe. But now if you only needed metric or SAE and you don't need both, you can get something that's probably pretty close to that size. Like let's see what this one is. Yeah. Is this that new starter? Yeah, this one's the new. So here's like the starter kit that has just SAE in it. It's a lot closer to the size, obviously, again, still bigger. And do you need more bits? Because these don't hold as many bits. Like this one's only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bits in that. But you got SAE pass-through sockets, ratchet, screwdriver handle, and you got magnetic nut drivers right here. And this is definitely cheaper than the tool check. The Connect S sets in the same ballpark, the bigger one. But it more so, I think, comes down to size. Where does what you want to use? Where's it fit? Where's it got to go? Where's it got to fit? There's Amanda. I thought one of the reasons for installing the TOSO was to get Amanda to join you more often. Yeah, she's supposed to, but she doesn't. She always says we talk about stuff she doesn't know. I'm trying to get caught up. She's in the house admiring her baby Fiskars. What's up, Wacky Wayland? Need a cat, Dr. EVO. Let's see. Tom almost bought the Klein 250th anniversary strippers and screwdriver set yesterday, but was responsible and didn't waste my money. So far, all I bought was the screwdrivers. I still haven't taken them out of the package. I did buy the screwdrivers. I didn't buy any of the other. They didn't have the strippers at the store that I was at. Now I could have went ahead and just ordered them, and I wasn't going to buy they didn't have the lineman plier at the store that I was at. They had everything else, but I was like, well, if I ain't buying the lineman plier, I don't want the other ones unless I buy the whole set. But yeah, I did buy the screwdrivers. I've gotten all those so far, that the red, white, and blue ones. Now I used all those. I've used all them like out and working. So they've got some scuffs and stuff on those. I'm a maintenance supervisor for apartments. If you're able to carry the case around with you, like say, I don't know if you drive a golf cart around, you drive your vehicle, and you can have the thing in your truck. If it's not a big deal to fit something like that in your tool bag, I think the Klein Connect S set would be more functional because the ratchet's a real ratchet. Like, I mean, these are all fine and dandy, which my ratchet even fell out. It's in my pocket. I felt it the other day. It falls out all the time. Find that actually. I mean, the ratchet on the Vera is teeny tiny. I mean, you're not going to do real work with that. But again, it just depends on what you're using it for. I mean, this is nice. This is a better bit holder than anything that's in the Klein, but you probably carry bit holders around with you. Anyways, this little screwdriver here, I mean, not really all that functional for work and apartment maintenance. And then you're only going to get metric or SAE sockets. So I think for the price, I mean, I think they're pretty comparable. I don't remember. I think this is around $100 and this is around $100. This is a better deal, in my opinion, if you have the space for it. How's the EVO clip feel? I heard people complain it feels cheap. Have you loaded it all the way up yet? I think the clip part on the pouch is good. I think the clip on the bag does feel a little bit cheap. Again, it may be fine. It may be something that just feel that way, but I would have rather just had this on the side of the bag. Let's see if I can get this in the picture, but I mean, it's like it's probably the same plastic that may be on that, but it just I'm assuming it's bolted on somewhere behind here in 2 spots. It is patent pending, but I just see that as being something like you're pulling somebody's gonna pull it in and out of their truck or whatever. I mean, it won't be me because I don't carry my stuff that way, but I can see it happening where it's gonna snag on something like here or something, and you're gonna jerk on it if you don't have a pouch on it, and it's gonna end up causing something probably later. Again, I could be totally wrong. It may be the strongest clip ever, but it does kind of feel like what somebody said there. Like Wacky said, somebody told him, said it felt a little cheap. I said the pouch clip part, I feel pretty good about that. But that's different. I'm never going to be jerking stuff around with that and catching it on something. Mm-hmm. You and I both know tools fall in the cart. Strong, the tool acquisition disorder is the dark side of you beware, somebody said. What's up, Joey Holloway? Don Shop said he loves the old starter kit, fits smaller and fits in better in his carry bag. Yeah, if you only run into SAE and you don't run into metric much, which if you're in apartment maintenance, you probably run into metric because there's different ways of apartment maintenance. I don't know if you hang TVs up for people and all that kind of stuff like that, you run into metric. But yeah, the old starter kit, you can get it sometimes for like $30. That's definitely a better deal to me than the Tool Check Plus. Should have been a metal clip, Wacky said. I that's what I thought too, and I would have thought that it was like until I got it. But I don't know if they didn't make it metal because I was thinking about that, and I think I mentioned it in that video I put out before I came out here. I don't know if they didn't do it because the whole time you're putting your magnetic clip down through a metal pouch off the side, it would sit there and want to grab. It would make it hard to push it in and pull it out. I don't know if that's why they didn't make it metal. That would be my thought of why they maybe didn't. But yeah, I don't. Well, I'll be curious to see how it holds up. Like I said, I personally feel like, I mean, this is pretty stout. Like because it's not real wide and it's got all that stitching at both sides. Like I don't. I mean, I know it's not as sexy of a new product release or anything, just to say, hey, you can stick these on the side, and it wouldn't have made people buy bags. But it's like that to me is just as nice looking, if not nicer looking, in all honesty, because it hugs it tighter to your bag. I'd just made some bags that didn't have side pockets and put things like this up at the top of them, because that's kind of what I like. That's what I've been looking for now that I've had bags over time. That's once I got that SPMC that didn't have any pockets on the side. I'm like, I like not having pockets on the side of my bag because I put stuff out there. If there's pockets, I want to put stuff out there because I don't like empty pockets. But then I also don't like all that stuff on the side of my bag, which this gives you the option to put it on there and then take it off. And that's how I would use. That's probably how I'm going to use mine in my truck, because I don't know that I'm not going to. I might not use that MCT Evo right away. I'm currently running this, and instead of finding some place to mount this on my truck, I'm probably just going to set this on my bag down in there. And then if I'm going to go in somewhere and not use my bag, I'll just come in here and grab this pouch, and take it off my bag. I'm just going to use my bag as basically a place to store my pouch while it's in the truck. And then I could also grab both of them and take it in if I want to. Yeah, non-magnetic stainless steel. Yeah, they could have done. Yeah, for sure. TPXXL XXL Evo looks pretty sweet. I like it. Like, compared to the other MCTs, that front pouch is pretty nice. Like, it's nice. That's the kind of storage you didn't really have on the MCT, because the way that the tool things are, you can fit a ton of tools in here because you got two compartments, and the bag is still not so big because they didn't leave a lot of room other than your tool space. So there's not really a good spot to stick maybe some bigger stuff like a connect set or whatever else. There's just not room for it. And they kind of, give you that with this. So I do like this. Even though again, that's going to make your bag bigger this way. But if I was to pick, like, to me, this is a total different bag. You either want pouches on there all the time or you don't. And if you want them on there all the time, this is the bag to buy because it's already got them. And by the time you buy one of these and two EVO meter pouches and all that kind of stuff, that's going to cost you a lot more money. Now, if you want the ability to be able to take my meter pouch off the bag and put it on something, then you got to go with this and buy yourself that. But if I was to pick between the blackout and this one, I'd probably get this one just for this right here. And I also, again, I don't typically like the pockets on the side anyways. And this kind of gets rid of them, even though you still have this stuff. And that's just me speaking for me. Everybody's different. Everybody does different stuff. But out of having all of them, I like it probably, as far as the upgrades and the look and all that stuff. I like it. We'll just have to see how those clips hold up. If your EVO bag is on a material cart, height loaded at or below recommended capacity, the clips on the side do look like they would break. What's up, Brian? Thin steel would have done it. Aluminum's going to bend. Evo color scheme's nice, other than I feel like another flop. Other than that, it feels like another flop by Vito. Yeah, I like I like the color scheme of that. Like the CBLD to me looks really nice. Like I like the new bags they came out with. It's got that. I like the blackout bags too, but I do like, actually I kind of prefer this over a full blackout, like a mix of it. Like it's got some of the blackout stuff, but then some of the old stuff. because this actually shows less dirt for me than what the black stuff does. Like I can keep this cleaner for some reason than the blackout, but I like the look of it's a mix. When's Vito going to make some tie-dye options? That wouldn't surprise me. I'm sure they'll come out with high vis and then some camo ones and of all of them at some point. No spring promo purchase for me this year. Close to get new chest and carts. I wasn't going to, like me and Jeff, that Bowery boy, did the swaps where I got the CBLD for free. And once that were by swapping him a bag, like I swapped him that velocity bag. So then I was like, well, I already got the free bag now. I don't think, and well, at the time also, like the EVO bags weren't out. And I was like, I'm definitely not buying one of the EVO bags. If the spring promo's over, like I'm not buying one unless I get something for free. Cause now I can sell the other CBLD and make my MCT a little bit cheaper. That's the only reason why I went ahead and bought one. Because I bought every other MCT and I'm like, I know I'm going to buy an EVO pouch, maybe even more than one pouch once I get one to see if I like it. And then if I decide I want to run those pouches all the time and I want to be able to clip, if I'd have known though that I could have clipped them in this, I don't know that I'd have bought that. Like, just because I don't feel like I don't need that bag at this moment because I've got the other bags. I kind of bought it. I actually bought that the day before I bought my MP1 pouch. If I'd have got my pouch in the mail and realized it was going to fit in this, I don't know if I'd have bought that bag. Is that the SPLD behind you? This one's the SPLD. That one's the SPMC back there. And it fits in both of them. Like you can put it in the SPMC too. Like the SPLD's got a little bit wider. Actually, the middle pocket on it is really about the same. They got two little extra little small ones over here where they got an extra stitch going down inside of those. I think it's on both. It might just be on, yeah, it's on both sides. So this section here is really the same as the biggest pocket. But it's like, yeah, I mean, you're talking about nice to me. Like you got your 90% bag with the SPMC. Almost everybody's already got this, dude. And then throw you a meter pouch on one side and a tool pouch on the other, and you go out to your truck and being like, oh, I just need my meter and my tool pouch right now. I'm just gonna take this. And then you put different tools in this that you put in here. I mean, you could really make yourself a pretty nice small TPXXL type thing. I'm calling it now. Next year, EVO pouches and bags will have a variety of colors, including an infrared version. SPMC pouch fit inside of the EVO. I'll probably show that in another. Like I said, I'm gonna do a video as far as what all that I have that will fit in these. That's why I've got a bunch of pouches sitting out all over the place. No, it's a little bit too wide. Let me see if I can get it to where. Yeah, it's just a hair too wide to go down in there. You know they knew that. Yeah, it's just a hair wider. Now you could put it in this guy. Put that on the front side there. Need to add that to the mix though of the stuff I'll show in that video. I'm in for an infrared, a size between SPMC and CBLD. I'm liking the SPLD so far. I've been running that since I got it. That's what's been in my truck. Is that, and like I said, that's in my truck all the time, and this is in my truck. Like tomorrow, I'm going to a doctor's office and changing out a bunch of GFCI plugs. So I don't keep this in my truck all the time because I've got some of the electrical tools that are in here, like circuit breaker finder. Like I don't have my Klein 450 in my truck all the time, but I've got my circuit breaker finder. for a service call, but like if I'm going to do an electrical job, I'll throw this one in my truck and it gives me some extra tools because I got to go to a doctor's office tomorrow and change out and add, well, really ultimately, I got to change out all the load plugs off of GFCIs and they want to run it parallel and make all those plugs their own individual GFCIs. So I got to do that in quite a few spots. So I'm gonna take that with me so I can use my. I'll have my 450 with me because I don't like in an office situation. I like to have as many tools as possible to try to find that circuit breaker because I don't want to go turning off other people's computers and stuff like that. I got that to do tomorrow, and then I gotta in the morning I've got to go an elevator floor. I got to put a floor in an elevator, like finished floor, not like not the actual elevator itself, but like the finished floor. I've got to do that. I've got to go pick up materials for a job for Monday, and then I got to go do those plugs. Thank you, cracked it, Morgan. The Evo and the SP bag. Yeah, like I said, if I'd have known that fit like that, I probably still would have bought that bag just because I'm getting. But again, only reason why I bought it is because I thought I might would want it. And if I decide I like that better than the blackout, I'll sell my blackout, and then I'm also going to sell a CBLD, so I won't end up being, out a lot of money other than whatever I originally spent maybe on my blackout bag. I might lose a little of that, but we want a small bag that holds more than we can want and weighs nothing. Yeah. I don't know why Milwaukee subcontracted their hard hats. I don't even know if there's any Milwaukee branding on the hard hat. I haven't seen any of those. Great idea with the SPMC. I rock it with the MP1X and the drill holster, but the meter bag would be a perfect to open up the inside of mine. Yeah, because that's the one thing on the SPMC. It's pretty tight in there. Like the meter is not going to be an option, which that's how whenever I run mine, I ran mine just with tools in it. And then I carried that fluke uh, meter case with my T5 separate, like I just carried it in my hand or whatever, which now I've got that Atlas pouch that I've got that in. But yeah, a meter was the hard thing to get into a meter is a hard thing to fit into a 90% bag if you're carrying a small one. Not a bad spot. I only use that front pouch for nitrile gloves. Yeah, there's not much else. I've only ever used those. I think I've got some band aids that I just pulled out of that one that I didn't even know were still in there. I had a couple band aids. And then other than that, I've always been just hanging my pouches on them. That's pretty much all I've ever used those pockets for. Do you Joey pouches fit on the Evo docks? Eh, yes and no. I'm gonna make a video of everything that fits on that. I've actually was getting ready to. I was gonna film that the other day, and I didn't get a chance to because the UPS guy. That's actually the video I was gonna make first, and then I didn't have time to make that video in my free time, and I had more time to make the video that I put out today. So I went ahead and did that. I'm probably gonna film that if I get home early enough tomorrow. I'll probably film that tomorrow, and maybe I'll put it out like Sunday or something like that. But they do and they don't. There's a lot of things that do and don't. I haven't tried everything in it yet, but there's a lot of things that do and don't. Love the hat sitting on top of your vest in the background. It's like a Matrix multi Joey wall. Yeah, I got those hat clips. I think it was Clint or somebody sent me a link on Amazon to them. I've got a bunch of them. I think I bought like either a 16 or a 32 pack. So I may end up putting more hats in there, but I'm for sure going to put a shelf right above those hats. And that's where I'm going to put all my Vito bags is on that shelf in there. The ones I'm not like using, or even like my NCTP, like if while I'm not using it and I go grab it, I'm gonna put all my bags in there because I've got like about before I get into my door, I think I had 11 inches before I get into my door that goes to my other garage worth of shelf room. So I bought some brackets. I'm just waiting until I find the right something that I demo out of somewhere that I'm gonna make a shelf out of. Like maybe I'll demo out some butcher block out of somewhere or something like that. That's what I always do. Like I know what I want to do. I'm just gonna wait till I find something that is free that I'm gonna do it with. In your state, how much electrical can you do as a general contractor? Are you an electrician? So I can do anything that's already there. Like, well, not anything that's already there. Like, within the home, like outside of the, like from the panel out. Like, if it's already there, I can fix it. Now, do I run new lights for people and new receptacles for people and stuff like that? Depends on the customer, and they'll call me and say, I know that you're not really supposed to be who I'm going to call to do this, but I know you're going to do a better job than they would anyways, and I want you to do it, and it doesn't matter to me. Then yes, sometimes I'll go ahead and do it, but it just depends on who it is and all that kind of stuff. But now I'm not like a licensed electrician. I've just done a lot of electrical work. Now, whenever I worked for the place I worked for, I could do anything there because it wasn't my business. And like I was an employee. And if they told me to do something, that's their responsibility to know if I'm supposed to be doing it or not. So I didn't care. I mean, I'll do whatever you ask me to. So I did a lot more stuff in that work than even I'm willing to do in my own business, even though I have the knowledge and the skill to do it. I just don't do it because it's too big of a risk for me to do it, and it's not covered, and all that kind of stuff like that. So there's certain things I don't do anymore that I used to. But the easiest answer to that is it's considered maintenance in my area if it's something that's already there, and that's whether it's plumbing, electrical, anything. If it's already in your house, it's considered maintenance and it can be repaired by the license like that I have in the city that I work in. Did you get my email about the zip tie hack? I did. That's pretty. Let me go ahead and grab some. So zip tie holders and all that kind of stuff. I put out a video back whenever I first started the channel that was kind of like an ass seen on TV thing at the beginning. That's back whenever I was first learning how to make videos and all that stuff. It's kind of corny, but I've got two of those things hanging in my truck that I load my zip ties in and still pull them out of there. They work good, but Brian Hall sent me a video, and it's like this is one of those things that is so simple that you're like, why did I not think of this like you know 10 years ago? So if you want to have a holder for your zip ties, you just zip your zip ties on your zip ties. So this now it would be a tedious thing to put very many zip ties on like this, but in your bag, if you want to keep them from falling all over the place, maybe you're only carrying like in my bags, I carry like 10, 15 or so. Just go ahead and put them on a zip tie. Where'd you go, my little Kleins? There you are. Take and cut this dude off. And now whenever you want a zip tie, you just pull it off the zip tie. So then you're basically just using a zip tie as your holder. Keeps them all together. Like I said, I wouldn't sit there and do my 100 pack this way. I mean, it ain't worth the time. I'd rather drop 30 of them than spend the time to sit there and do this. But the ones that you're keeping in your bag, if you're only keeping like 10 or so at a time, pretty good idea. And then if you only want like a small little, like again, if that's all you're holding, you could make yourself a little zip tie thing like this and just keep it in your bag. Throw it in your pocket like that too, and then to pull it out and pull one off at a time. Pretty smart. It's one of them things whenever you see it on a video, you're like, how have I not thought of that? You got a talc room. My Tech Pack's trying to fold me like a sandwich. I've had this Tech Pack MC. I bought this the spring promo last whatever year. I don't even know. It was whatever year you got the SPMC for free. So that was what? Yeah, that was last year, I guess. Yeah. So I bought this. And I've never taken the tags off because I don't think I'm ever gonna. It's even like I can't imagine having a tech pack again. I don't know anybody that's got a tech pack. I've never seen. There's not a lot of people who use Vito bags in my area, so I've never seen a tech pack in person. But I mean, I can't imagine a tech pack that's bigger than this thing because I'm going to end up selling this to somebody at some point. I've kept it just because it's a backpack and it's my only backpack that I've got. But I mostly bought it to get another free SPMC. The buddy I work with all the time wanted an SPMC, and I got that on sale at Acme Tools. They had it like I got like I don't remember what I got off, like 50, 60 bucks off of it or something, and got the free SPMC. And I was like, I won't lose money on that because I can, even if I sell it at the price that I got it for as a deal, I basically got that other bag for free. But yeah, that's the Tech Pack MC, and that's huge to me. Anybody try the UB series from Vito? Yeah, Matt's got. I don't know. Matt's got one coming. I know, but he also sent one to Jeff Bowery. There's a few people in here that's got those. I haven't got one yet. It's like storing all your Kroger bags in another Kroger bag. You could put different size ones into the clamp and then pull the zip tie that you need, thread it onto a zip tie. You may need to pull off extra ones to get to the size you want. Yeah, I've got two of those little ring clamps. I've got those clipped onto like my back seat belt because I don't use those seat belts anymore because I took my back seat out. But the little belt, the seat belts are actually still in there, and the little clip that you normally would snap in, I've got two of those clipped onto that that's holding different zip ties, and that's what I use those just to go in there and pull them out of that. It works pretty good. Tech pack's probably 30 to 45 pounds. Somehow more tools keep entering it. Sweet. Today's giveaway. No, you don't ship to Canada. It's getting to where it's very hard for me to want to ship in the US. And just to ship a bag like that. And again, it doesn't make sense to me. Like I shipped a bag to that Bowery boy. I shipped in that Velocity bag, and I think it was like almost 50 bucks for me to ship that bag to Texas from here. But yet I could order a toilet on Lowe's and pay regular price, and they'll ship it to my house for free. It's like, and I know they get a bigger discount because they're bulk people and all that kind of stuff like that. But it's like, how does it cost them nothing to ship me a toilet, and it cost me 50 bucks to ship a bag? It's like it doesn't make any sense. Can the Milwaukee install drill fit inside the SPLD without the front V swap inside of it? Without the front, I'll have to go get that out of my truck. It's pretty easy to get to though. And just so all you people out there that say, why don't you use your tool every now and then? It's like, again, everything doesn't show up in a video. Like you can tell. I mean, that's been used. I mean, granted, I had to give it to 17 people on job sites and tell them to use it so it would make it look like I used it, but it's been used. So we'll take out front V swap panel. Yeah, it should. It should, no problem. Now this is without a head on it, but you could easily put. It would definitely take a head. You could put one of the heads on it too. Like I got plenty. All my heads are out there in the truck, but it fits easy. I guess I'll go grab one head just to make sure. But it looks like there's plenty of room in there. Let's see. I'll do the drill chuck head. That's a little bigger than the just 1/4 inch hex. And we'll throw a big battery on her. I don't never run mine with the big battery, but just for giggles, I put the big battery on there. So y'all give me a lot of homework out here. As long as I got stuff in my truck to do electrical and an elevator floor tomorrow, I'm good. I had the big $200 climb backpack, pretty nice, but big. I filled it halfway up so heavy I didn't want to use it. I sold it. Yeah, I've gotten to where a big bag is not even these. Now that I've been carrying like the SPMC and stuff, this is as big a bag as I want. This right here is as big as it. Like if it's bigger than this, I don't want it. Jeff shipped the velocity bag to me for less than half the price you paid. Yeah, and then he shipped me that CBLD, and I think I saw the price on it was only like $18 or something, like on the tag that whenever I got it. So it was a lot cheaper for him too, like for that. I don't know. I don't remember how he shipped it. Now I didn't go to the post office. Maybe the post office is a little bit cheaper, but I despise the post office. James is still at work. Lexi going for a bite to eat. Yeah, my numbness is almost finally, I'd say it's about 95% wore off. There for a long time though, like until about 3:30, like I was still like if I took a drink, water was coming out the side of my mouth. Post office is not cheap either. Brian said, I've got 25 plus of my Milwaukee tools, but the M12 installation driver is probably my favorite tool. I use it a lot for all kinds of, I use it specifically really for what it's for, installation of stuff like blinds and, all that kind of stuff like that. It works really good. What's up, Joseph? Tried to get a weed eater shipped from Missouri to Illinois, almost $200. Yeah, especially if it's probably had like gas or something in it already. I don't even know if they will ship it. Like, because I've even some of the things I bought on Amazon. I bought a pressure washer, and this is a long time ago because I bought it for where I worked at before. I bought a Honda pressure washer with a Honda motor on off of Amazon because it was the best deal I could find. And whenever I got it, the threads were stripped where I think it's where you screwed the hose. I think it was where I put the water hose onto the pressure. It was either where I put the water hose on or where you hook the hose up. I couldn't remember which one of the two it was. I think it's where you put the water hose on was kind of the threads were messed up. And I was like, I could clean these threads up. I can get it to work. And I was like, no, I bought this thing. I'm just going to ship it back to them. Well, then Amazon just said, we'll give you your money back, but just keep it. And I was like, well, all right. So then I fixed it and they sent me another one. So I ended up having two. Again, it was for the place I worked at. So we ended up selling, I fixed the one that I was going to ship back, and we ended up selling the second one that they sent to us. But it was because of that they said, "Well, we can't take it back if you've had gas in it." And I'm like, "Well, I've not put gas in it." I said, "I got it out of the box," and it was like I couldn't hook a hose up to it. The threads are messed up, and he's like, "Oh, it don't matter. We can't take it back." What's up, Wings and Pizza? I'm doing pretty good, James. The weed eater was 60. Yeah, that's the way I've been about shipping things. Like it's kind of even almost like if I do a giveaway or something, it's like there's a lot of these things I've got that are smaller. And again, every now and then I can do it every now and then, but it's not like again, I'm not making Perkins Builder Brother money where I can just pay a $200 a week and shipping stuff out to people. But like every now and then you ship something small or whatever, that's one thing. But to ship out a bunch of stuff, it's crazy. And some of the stuff, the shipping costs more than what the tool costs. It'd be almost better off for me to just get on Amazon and buy another one and let them ship it to you. But then I still end up the whole reason why I do a giveaway is because I got too much stuff and I want to give some of it away to people. So then I'd still have the thing, doesn't solve the problem. So a lot of stuff I end up giving like to people on job sites and stuff just because it's just too crazy expensive to ship stuff. It's ridiculous. Like you can ship even like a screwdriver and it'll cost you 15, $16. It's kind of like Harbor Freight. They won't take any kind of pump back. Yeah, there's something about well, at least the shipping aspect of it. They probably don't do it just because of that, because it's people will go use stuff and then want to bring it back after they're done with whatever it is. People do that all the time at Lowe's and stuff. They'll go buy a pressure washer and wash their house and then take it back and be like, "Oh, this thing no good and I don't want it," even though it just cleaned their whole house. When's my next giveaway? I don't know. I keep stuff like put back. Some stuff I've been keeping because I know I'm getting some other stuff and it's stuff that I got to compare it to. So there's some stuff I keep because I need to have it. So whenever I make a video for the next thing, like if I know it's something where they're going to come out with a new version of whatever it is, but then there's some stuff where I just end up with too many of a certain thing and there's no way I could use them all. I don't like keeping the stuff. The bad part is I don't like keeping the stuff like flashlights and stuff that you got to charge and it has lithium ion batteries in them. Like I don't like having too many of those because I don't want them just sitting around here and then never getting charged or used and then they just go bad. And so, but you go to the ship them and if you tell them that there's lithium ion batteries in there, it's a big ordeal. So it's hard to ship things like flashlights and stuff if you're honest with the post office and tell them that's what's really in there and all that kind of stuff. And again, it gets into it costs more money to ship it than even sometimes a flashlight's worth. I usually ship through Pirate Ship. They had discounted rates for USPS and UPS. I usually ship through Miss Maintenance / post office. So whatever she finds out's what she finds out. That's another reason why I don't do as much because I despise the post office. Like I don't like because they're every time you drive down there, they're gone to lunch or it's backed up like crazy. I mean, you're in there for 2 hours, or you know, it costs you an arm and a leg or whatever else. So I don't like going. So I'm thankful that I mean, she doesn't like going, but that she'll go. But I also don't do it as often because I don't like putting her out like that because I know I don't like going. And I don't want to make her have to go all the time either. Jeff has a business, so his shipping's likely discounted. We'll see you, James. That and the priority mailboxes, it used to be like you could fit decent stuff in the not so expensive of those, but like this, it just so happens that the smallest box, it like almost nothing ever fits in that thing. Stick around. I'm giving away a veto bag, but only shipping to Canada. I ship to overseas. Like I think I've done it twice now on a whether it was stickers or I know I did at least one giveaway to somebody over in the UK. They won. And back when I first started, I was just like anybody can win because I don't want to make it to where it's like some people can, some people can't. But after we shipped like a couple things overseas, it's like, man, it's not just the cost of it. It's like you've got to fill out like a book report and do all kind, like it's a whole ordeal. Like it's crazy. And again, it's the time aspects what pushes it out more than anything, because I don't have time to spend 2 hours a day down at the post office, you know, while I'm working and all that stuff. I just don't have time to do all that. But you ship something overseas, it's crazy. That's why a little bit later on, I was just like, I just can't do that. It's just too much time involved. Again, it'd probably be cheaper for me to get on Amazon UK and buy the thing again and ship it to somebody than it would be for me to actually physically ship something to somebody. Where are the new Fat Max tape measures being sold? I only saw mine on I had to buy mine on HomeDepot.com. Like my store didn't have them like in the store. I bought mine on HomeDepot.com and shipped it to my house. That's where they had them. I want to say, where else did I see it at though? I don't think I didn't find the 16 footer on Amazon. I think I found the 25 footer might have been on Amazon, but I don't think I wanted a 16 footer. I don't think I found the 16 footer on Amazon, but there was somewhere else. It might have been like Acme Tools and stuff, maybe had them too or something like that. But then you got to pay shipping. Home Depot was the place where I could get it and free shipping. Yeah, to ship a Vito bag overseas, you're probably looking at like 60 or 80 bucks. Well, that's like even getting the Velocity bag from the company to here. I got free shipping during the Black Friday, but then I ended up having to pay the tariff stuff that was like 50 something dollars. So that would have been even on top of whatever they paid for shipping. Mm, mm, mm. But I got some new stuff in from Klein. I got some stuff. I've got a new flashlight in that I got to make a video for. I think it's like the 15th or something is when I got to do that one. What else I got in here? Let me see. What I got. I got some Milwaukee stuff that I bought. I got some Vessel stuff that I bought. I got some stuff from Johnny W DIY that he sent me. I'm saving all that. I'm gonna do a tool haul video on some of that stuff. Not all that stuff I just said, but some of it. But the Johnny sent me some stuff. I'm gonna put that in a tool haul video. And then I got some stuff from Pipe Vice. And I still got an Atlas pouch too that I haven't started running it yet. I do like that Murphy speed pouch though with that my fluke in. I'll be using it tomorrow. That's what I'll wear at that job where I'm doing the GFCIs. Might be time for a fresh truck tour with all the new drawers and stuff you've got since the last one. I was thinking about that the other day because I don't think my last truck load out, I didn't have the Klein drawers. I made a video of changing to the Klein drawers, but I don't think I've made a truck loadout video with the drawers. And then I've also got a bunch of new pouches and stuff like that that I got kind of in my Atlas 46 tool row. I've now put that in that's in my passenger seat. That works out pretty good. It's pretty nice. And then I can still take it and put it on my cart like I showed in the video, but that's where it stays is there. And then I can take it and put it in with me and put it on my cart if I take this cart, which I'm not going to take. I've got y'all can't see it, but I got my Crescent Sight Runner. That's what I got my tablet on now, but I'm only taking I'm gonna take my whatever it is. What's that other one? Hyper Tough. Yeah, I'm gonna take that one. I've got it in my truck to take with me for that GFCI job tomorrow because I don't need very much stuff. I just need the GFCIs and my bags for the most part. Because other than that, I'll wear my vest and my Atlas pouch. So I just mostly need a cart for the materials and some wire nuts, and mostly just because I'm going to different places and I don't want to pick up my bag and move it 15 times. But I take this Crescent one with me. I don't keep it in my truck all the time. I keep my Hyper Tough one in my truck unless I've got like if I'm not loaded up for like a big job with table saws and miter saws or any of that stuff, and I've got room for it in the back of my truck, I just leave that one in there. My Crescent one I put in there specifically if I know I'm going to do something where I want this cart. David Betancourt, I have a 3/8 43 piece Milwaukee impact sockets. I saw a vid where you said you liked them. Have you seen the Klein 44 piece? It looks nice. I haven't seen the 3/8 Klein set. I've seen the half-inch set. Like I may have seen it in person. I may even have one. I don't know. But the I haven't seen the 3/8 set like in person. I have seen it. It's kind of the same way as the Milwaukee sets that I've got. Where you take the trays out of the case. Like they didn't come in a mod box case. They just came in like a snap case, like a whatever you call them, clamshell type case, over mold case. You ever think about doing vehicle loadouts on some random day would be a longer format, but I want to be first. Oh, like guess the trade. I mean, I don't I don't care if somebody wants to send in like I mean, to me, a vehicle loadout pictures could be in the guess the trade the same as again, we called it guess the trade just to give it a name and to give it a reason for us to talk about something in the chat and then also talk about it in the comment section just to have stuff to just to make it a little bit more interesting. But ultimately, all we care about is looking at the tools and looking at somebody's setup to see if there's something in that setup that I like better than what I'm doing with mine. So I mean, I don't care to throw vehicle loadouts in the mix of it. To me, again, it's loadouts. It don't have to be of it. We've looked at tool carts. We've looked at toolboxes. Uh, so we could definitely do vehicles too. Yeah, I've gotten there for a while. I thought I was gonna have to quit doing the guess the trade. It was back about episode, I don't know, like in the 50s or 60s or something like that. There was something going on with an update on the phone or an update on my iPad, one of the two. I don't know, but basically film it on my phone and then I film the me going through the tools on my iPad as a screen recording and then but and then I'd put the 2 together and then, cut and go in and out of it or do whatever. But there for a while, like this, I would go in there to edit, and like the screen stuff would be like it didn't do it while I was actually filming, but it would just lock up and be stuck on a picture, but the talking would still keep going, and it wouldn't be like that in real life while I was recording it, and I'd have to spend forever going back in there and trying to make the pictures match up to the words and all. And I was just like, I did it for about a month that way, and I was like, if this don't change, it's like we're gonna cancel this because it was taking me hours. But it's been fixed since some kind of update or something. I don't know, but I want to be on the guest the trade one day. Yours would be a 12 year episode. Looking at you got to do yours in sections, Carlos. You can't do them all. Well, I mean, that's just like there has been people over the course of time that have YouTube channels that already have videos out there saying what they are and what they do. And again, I don't I don't care. It's not that it's, oh well, people will know what I do already. It's like again, the guessing thing is just an extra thing, just to make something a little more interesting for those who don't know you yet. Some people won't even know your YouTube channel to know what that answer is, anyways. What's my experience with Tecton? Have you used them much? Not really. I may, if I want to say maybe I've got something of theirs. It would take me a while to figure out what it is, but I think I bought something of theirs one time, but I can't think of what it is. But I don't buy a lot of. I mean, to me, once I had I buy more of it now just because at the stage of where I'm at, like I've said before, I'm more into seeing what the differences are between tools, and I'm just a big tool nut. But I mean, back whenever I was wasn't as well off, or wasn't in the stage of my career as what I am now, and everything else. if I had a socket set and a ratchet, I'm not buying another socket set and a ratchet. Why would I? And for the most part, I'm still kind of that way with those tools because I don't use those as much in my work. Like I buy more tools that I use in my construction type job. Like I'll buy extras or screwdrivers and pliers because I use them like every single day. Sockets and ratchets, I don't use them every single day. And that's what I know a lot of their tools are like that kind of tool. Like I don't do a lot of mechanic type work and stuff like that. So even though I do have a few extra sets, it's mostly because I keep a set in my truck and I keep a set in my garage, and I don't want to have to go back and forth. And I got a good deal on them at some point in time, or I already had a set, and then the Milwaukee ones came up on clearance. I wanted the ink filled because it's just so much better, in my opinion. So then I bought a set, so that made me have two. But the sockets, ratchets, those kind of tools like that, I don't buy a ton of that kind of stuff in extras. Now you get into screwdrivers and strippers and diagonals. Like I'll buy all kinds of them to try them because I use them every single day. I can be anonymous. Wife was asking me when I was shopping for a new vehicle back last December, why are you measuring the space in the hatch of these SUVs? Yeah, I've gotten mine pretty well dialed in to where I like where mine's sitting. Like I like it. And it's one of those where now that I've got it like it is, my engine's probably gonna blow up or something like that. But I'm gonna drive my truck probably hopefully a long time still because they're too expensive and I don't want to go buy another vehicle. And more than anything, I don't want to go through the process of getting it like where I've got it right now. Even though that's fun when you're doing it, and it's fun figuring out stuff and building stuff, but it's not really that much fun doing it around working. Like it'd be different. But then why do I need to do it if I'm not working like I'm working right now? I don't. So then that defeats the purpose of it too. You don't get as much enjoyment out of it. But it's hard when you're working and you need all that stuff in your truck all day to take it out to build stuff and then have to put your stuff back in there every single day, take it out and all that. It's a little bit of an ordeal to get it to the point where you want it. But it is fun to figure it out. I never update phone software until the X.1 comes out. They push those updates too soon and half baked. Do I have a Milwaukee mid torque impact gun for lug nut takeoffs and replacements? I've got two of the little 3/8 stubbies M12s, and they take my lug nuts off my trucks. Like I've got a high torque. I don't have a mid torque. I've got a Milwaukee high torque. I bought it for a job actually to take the bolts out of the shelves that I've got in my like the shelves like it's over there and the ones behind me at that Bed Bath and Beyond. A lot of the bolts had gotten bent over time. Uh, where people hit them with stuff or whatever, and I couldn't get some of them to come out with my stubby, so I went and bought that high torque, and it either got them out or it broke them off, one of the two. So it didn't matter to me. I just had to get them out. But the 3/8 M12 stubby takes off every lug nut I've tried it on. Now I haven't done anything bigger than my truck. Like I've not tried it on like my skid steer or something like that back there. 10K for a new Coyote if it died would still be cheaper. I think I finally got I've got a oil leak on my rear seal. Not a big leak, but a little bit of one. Of course, to fix that, you got to take out all kinds of stuff to get to that. Like it's a very expensive fix. But I bought some of this, and I can't think of what is it ATP 50 or AP 50. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was very highly recommended by people. I watched a few things on it. I read a bunch of stuff on it. I finally decided I'm gonna try that. So I did one batch of it, and I felt like it did slow it down. Like again, it's not a crazy leak, but it's just enough that whenever I parked in certain people's driveways, like because I work at a lot of people's houses that are pretty well to do, and they got nice driveways and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't want my truck leaking, so I'd park on the road, like and walk up. Or I also keep a little carpet in the back of my truck that I know exactly where it's gonna come out. I'll stick that under there just to make sure. Like again, it doesn't leak all the time. I think it's only whenever you're on a certain angle or do whatever. But I put that in there, and I did feel like I didn't see it as often, but every now and then, if I park somewhere, I could still see some. And it used to be you had to be parked somewhere like overnight or something too. But I did another round of it, and ever since then, I haven't seen any coming out since. So hopefully, hopefully that did it without me having to go to the because I'd be paying somebody to do that. I'm not doing that. I mean, you got to take out the transmission, you got to take out everything to get to that. Getting tools in and out of a truck is a nightmare at this point. A work van is what I need at this point. Mine's okay. Again, I can see where a work van would be nice because right now I've got to go. Like sometimes I need something that's on my driver's side, which I've got it kind of situated now to where I can get to everything from one side as far as the cab stuff. But there's still times where I've got to go to the back of my truck and open up the back, get into my deck drawers, or open up the sides and get into these drawers, or open up my cab. And sometimes I got to go to two or three places versus if you could just get up in the back of the van and kind of just make your little loop and get out all the stuff you need in that one area and you unlock one door and get in or do whatever. That would be the only thing that would be more beneficial to me about a van as far as carrying stuff and all that. Like my truck works out great the way that I've got it. Like I don't have any problems getting anything in it. And the way that I've got my rack on top with my ladders, I can go get 16-foot boards real easy. Like I can get all kinds of stuff. The only advantage of having a van would be that I can go in one door and I've got access to everything, like right here in this one spot, instead of me maybe having to go to a couple spots. 358,000 on the '08 Chevy Express. Had to order a 2-gallon electric pump sprayer. Found the Petra brand was the best, 50% off right now. Great sprayer. I bought a Ryobi sprayer, battery powered 18-volt one a while back, and it only worked about two or three times, and it got to where it wasn't keeping the pressure. And I tried different old rings and all kinds of stuff, and I finally just threw it away. It was okay the few times it worked, but it didn't work for very long. What do I think of an electric truck? It wouldn't work for me just because I drive uh, into town. Like if I live close to, and it's not like I live super far away from where I work, but it's still I mean, it probably would work, but I wouldn't want to chance it. Like there'd probably be a time throughout the day where I'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to have to charge this dude or something." I don't know. I mean, I know you probably get a decent amount of miles on it to where you could surely get home, but I don't like the idea of it. I wouldn't mind having like a hybrid something or other where you have the option of both, but I don't think I want to be just one. And even though like here it gets cold in the wintertime, sometimes it gets pretty cold, but I don't think it would be an issue like here as what it would be like up north and stuff probably. I do remember back when I saw the Ford electric truck in a video, and it's been several years ago, so I mean, it would have been an older model, like a couple years old. But I do remember seeing like opening up the hood, and it was like the trunk. It was like a trunk, and I was like, man, now that would be nice. Like that'd be pretty sweet to have all that space, like for because you still had the truck bed, but then he opened up like the hood, and it was like basically like a big trunk. I was like, that'd be pretty nice right there. What's up, Fag? Need to put a wrap on your truck, advertise Morgan's Maintenance. No, I don't want anybody calling me that doesn't know me. You got to be privileged to get Morgan's Maintenance. And not even in that way. It's just, that's just that's where I'm at right now. It's like, I'm not doing work for people I don't know or people that don't know somebody I know, just because I'm busy enough. I'm not, again, I'm not in it I could stay busy enough working for a bunch of people that I don't know and wondering if they're going to pay me and all that kind of stuff like that, and then be working 7 days a week if I wanted to. I could get that much work if I wanted to, but I'm just not at that stage in my life. Like if I was younger, sure, but I don't put my phone number on anything. I don't hand out business cards. So whenever somebody calls me, it's because somebody gave them my phone number. Yellow Woobin G5 drops tomorrow. It's like a tool battery anxiety issue. Will it last to the end of this job? Will the charge get me home? I mean, I'm sure they get enough miles that it's not what I drive in a day. Like I could charge it every day when I got home, surely, and have enough. I definitely wouldn't want an all electric vehicle for like our family vehicle. Cause like if you go on a trip or something like that, like no. Again, I think hybrid's a good option. I don't think I'd want all electric of anything. Because the hybrid gives you the option of it's at least electric some to save you on gas, but if you need to go pretty far away, you can still just keep pumping gas in it. Tom said my transmission went out at 150,000 miles, had the local shop rebuild. It's been pretty solid since. That's the only issue I had in my Ford truck so far is the transmission. I kept getting a big jerk, and it was I don't know if it's the lead frame or the lead frame, but it's the what it's spelled that way. But it's an electronic transmission. But it would just start jerking like crazy and be revving like crazy, and then it would throw it into limp mode. And then if I turn my truck off and turn it back on, it might drive fine for a week and then do it again. And then it finally got to where it's doing it pretty often. So I took it and had the transmission fluid changed and did some stuff like that first. And it seemed like it got better. And then it did it again. So then I ended up taking it into the Ford dealer. And they said that it was a extended warranty thing because it had been a common problem. It was extended up to 100,000 miles or 10 years or something like that. And it was my truck's a 2011, and it was in 2020, like 2020 in December or something like that. It was like I was only like about 14 days away from it not being under warranty whenever I took it in there, and they replaced that, and ever since then it's been good. If you advertise on your truck, you advertise your tools in the truck for thieves. Got me thinking electric truck. How will AI improve tools? Any input? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how it will end up integrating into tools and stuff like that. Other than like maybe like kind of like the one key type stuff that Milwaukee had. I mean, it's not going to use it for you. I mean, you're going to be using it, but I could see where like it might allow them to basically, which it's kind of AI in it now, I guess, in that sense. It's basically a computer figuring all that stuff out. But like this something to check the status of your tool and stuff like that, which again, they kind of already have that now with one key and all that stuff. It's still a computer doing that, but it might end up being a little bit better version of that. But I don't know. I don't know any other way that it would end up being integrated. It would have to be power tools. You can't let that jerk cut you off like that. That's true too. Like you put your name and phone number, you got to be a little bit better driver. And then whenever somebody makes you mad, you can't really, because you don't know what I was watching. So I used to drive like a van to go pick up stuff for the place that I worked at before, and it was a like Christian organization and all this other stuff. And of course, their name and everything's placard all over the side of it. And I always made the joke. I was like, "Yeah, I can't hardly drive this because then whenever I get mad, I can't flip people off and cuss at them. Whenever I'm driving down the road." As a joke, but yeah, you got to think about that too. Actually, what's up, Frank? Yeah, I've had pretty good with my truck. I mean, I've changed like I mean, I do the general maintenance on it. I mean, I've changed all the fluids that you're supposed to change at the certain dates, spark plug, and all that kind of stuff like that. I mean, I keep up with all that. And mine's hauling a lot of weight around in it all the time. I mean, it's not like it's a ton of weight, but it's still carrying around a lot of stuff on it. I use a Mercedes Sprinter for my business. No logos, no wrap, no numbers. I get amazing gas mileage, something like 25 or so. So tool caller's running around like a kidnapper. Got his white van, no markings. Battery technology needs to advance a lot more for me to invest in an all electric vehicle maybe in 15 to 20 years. I've always said it's common sense to me. I kept seeing all the stuff of people pushing for it on it's a whole political thing now, and it's just whoever's in somebody's pockets all it is. But it's like every summer they're like clamoring for you to turn your air conditioner up because the grid can't handle, everybody turn their air conditioner on 70. It's like, so you're telling me we're worried about that, but yet you think everybody should be putting in a big extra thing in their panel, and most people are gonna have to upgrade probably their panel and then run a new circuit to their garage to plug 1 or 2 vehicles, especially if you got 2 of them. If everybody had to be electric and you need more than 1, it's like you mean to tell me you think that the grid could handle everybody getting home from work, like the majority of people get home about the same time if they work that 9 to 5 stuff. They're all gonna plug their vehicles in at the same exact time and pull that on the grid, and you think it's gonna handle it. It's like it's common sense if you do this work for a living that it's like we ain't ready for that. Like as much as they want to clamor and say that's what we're supposed to be, it ain't happening. AI will allow them to prototype faster. Machine learning helps them last longer. Amanda said, "Stop talking about the truck before we have to replace it." I don't want to replace it either. Like I said, I hope it lasts me for the whole rest of the time that I'm working. Do you do your own maintenance on your truck or take it in the shop? It depends on what it is. I do all the general stuff. Now, my oil change normally I've done it's a mix. I do mine sometimes. I don't mind doing it on my truck because I can just crawl under it. I don't have to jack it up or anything like that. I can just crawl under it and do it. But sometimes if I'm in town and I'm in between jobs and I'm waiting to go somewhere and like Valvoline place where you just drive in, I don't take my truck anywhere where I can't sit in it like while the work's being done for that kind of stuff because I'm not gonna like let somebody drive my truck into some area with all my tools and everything in it and be like me sitting out in the lobby somewhere and then I'm gonna get in my truck and something could be missing in there and I'm not gonna know it for a long time until I go to get it and then I'm gonna be doing like I did the installation pliers, being like, what did I do with that? So I like the ones where I can just sit in my seat and they do it. I will do the oil change that way every now and then. But other than that, like if it's something major, I take it in somewhere and I'll just take my tools and stuff out. And if I'm gonna be leaving it somewhere like overnight or something like that. But that's ultimately why I do a lot of my own maintenance. It's just easier. I don't have to mess with worrying about all my stuff in my truck, getting it in and out. Also, I don't have to schedule it, so I can if I've got an afternoon where oh, I'm gonna get done at noon today. I'm gonna go home and change my, whatever fluid or change my spark plugs or, whatever it is. So it's a mix. I do the easier stuff. I'm not gonna do anything like I said, if it that rear seal, I wouldn't mess with that. That's too much. Kidnapper van, be like the Palmer Tesla. EV charger also ranges from 30 to 50 amps each. Rolling blackouts in future. Yeah, that's what I said. It's like I keep you couldn't even get people to understand that are just out there hammering, "Oh, we're gonna die," or whatever else with climate and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter. It's like it's not gonna work. Like at where we're sitting right now, you couldn't give everybody a free electric vehicle and put it in their garage, and it's like it's not gonna work. We ain't got it. We ain't got the power for it. Like I said, is there anybody who during the heat of the summer, I know it's not just, I mean, if they're doing it in my area, I'm sure it's, especially in bigger cities and stuff like that, it's got to be a big problem with how much it pulls on the grid. They've got to update how we're getting our power because, again, what good's it do you to drive an electric vehicle around if the power that's charging it is still coming from, and you're using more power now of that to charge all these vehicles, that's not being made in a way that's whatever. But again, it doesn't take anybody that kind of does the kind of stuff we do for a living. It's common sense to us, but it's doesn't make sense, I guess, to people that don't understand how things work. Make sure those places refill everything. Those oil change places become crazy. Yeah, 80 mine's around because mine takes seven and something quarts. So mine is the oil change and then plus quarts whenever I go. And mine's around $100, like whenever I get my oil changed. It's somewhere around $100 if I take it to the place. But in all honesty though, if I go buy the stuff, it's not much cheaper than that. Like if you buy good oil and filter and all that kind of stuff, like it's a little cheaper, but it's not drastically cheaper. And they fill your washer fluid and check your air pressure in your tire. I mean, they do a lot of other stuff there too. So it's not a bad deal. I mean, it's still crazy, but that's just like batteries for a car. I went and got my son a battery. He called the other morning and said his car wouldn't start. So Amanda went and picked him up and was driving into work. And I told him, I said, well, whenever I get done with my job that I'm on here, I can swing by there, just leave your keys there. I swung by there and hooked up my top Don to it and jumped it, and it drove it over to the auto place and got a battery. And it was 240 something dollars for a battery. And I remember back when you could get a battery for under $100 too. It's crazy how much stuff's changed. Saw the WKU demoed a big building on campus today. It's probably the one I haven't kept up with it, but they built a brand new building. So I don't know if that's what this is or if they demoed an old one, but they built a new one and something was structurally wrong with it. Like and it ended up being it was an architect engineering firm issue. They built it, I guess, however the plan said, like it was stamped drawings and all that. But and this is just me hearing stuff through people who've worked on it and stuff. I don't know that this is 100% true. Um, but they ended up having they're gonna they had to, I know they said they was gonna have to tear the building down is what I heard, so that might be what they was tearing down. Time for nuclear power. That's what I'm saying. You'd have to change to something like that to be able to do what they're wanting to do with electricity. Like it ain't gonna work the way we got it now. Too many people, too much power. Mobile One's my go-to. Good old Illinois pushing to shut down all the coal-fired plants. They don't do anything extra for $80. It's an extra cost. Yeah, I want to say mine. They test your battery, they check your air filter, they ask you about your windshield wipers, but they don't. I mean, none of all those things are cost more if you do have them change it, but they check it all, and then they check your tire pressures and pump those up. They do refill the window washer fluid thing, and then they also change your oil at the Valvoline place. But mine's like it's right around $100, and that's usually I usually have a coupon like 10, $15 off or something like that. Tuition's going to end up going up, I bet, guaranteed. I've been using Kirkland Signature Full Synthetic. It's been good. Does a sale for like $10 off every now and then. Just got my Vito SPMC for my handyman business. Steve said it's a good bag, man. I ran it all of last year, and I wouldn't even be changing to another bag other than I just like trying new bags. and plus, he made me too good of a deal on the SPLD that's why I bought that one. But I wasn't sure I was gonna like the SPMC when I got it. I mean, I love the size of it and everything, but I'm like, I don't know, this may be too small. But after I used it, man, I'm just like, yeah, this is a very good bag to it's not heavy. You can put your bread and butter stuff in there because we can get by with very little tools. I mean, most of us can. We don't need all the tools that we have. We just like them and we like using them. And I like having. I mean, there's certain tools that make a job easier and more enjoyable, but I can still do it with 15 other tools if I have to. It's just this tool's better experience to do it with. But you can fit everything you need in a pouch almost if you really need to. SIUC built a new building, spending money, and enrollment keeps going down. The SPMC replaced my TP3B. Yeah, to me, that's what the SPMC was for me too. It was kind of like I love my TP4B. That's back whenever I first started this channel. That's what I was running as my go bag type thing, and I liked it. But I'm a bigger fan of the closed top bags than I am of an open thing, and that's to me that's what the SPMC was. It reminded me of using my TP4B, but it was a closed bag. Mm-mm-mm. Project Farm and personal experience. Walmart Everstart Max batteries are legit 3-year warranty, 5 prorated. Had one in a Chevy Cobalt that lasted 9 years. Yeah, that was something else me and Amanda said whenever I went and bought my son that battery. Uh, I think his was like maybe 4 years old or something like that. And we were talking. I was like, "Yeah, we remember like you'd have a battery that would last 10 years, and now it doesn't seem like any of the new ones. They're twice as much, 3 times as much, and you're lucky if you get 5 years out of one." Now I gotta sit here and ponder what all of this stuff behind me do I have to have in my truck tomorrow. I gotta put my MCTP in there, and I gotta put my SPLD in there, or actually, I've got my MP2X still in my truck, so I can do everything with that tomorrow if I need to. But kinda like I said, there's certain things that I prefer to have. Mm, 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 mm. So anybody else order a EVO pouch? Anybody else got one or got one coming? I know Matt's got one coming. I think Matt bought the MP2 EVO. All I know is I'm sitting here with no popcorn. How many jobs you generally doing a day? Usually, so I do 2 different things really. I'm a general contractor that does medium-sized jobs with my buddy, and he's his own business and I'm my own business, but we go together. Like he'll get a job and I'll help him on his, I'll get jobs, he helps me on mine, stuff that would be much easier and efficient with more than one person type of thing. So sometimes I've got that going on all the time. And then I fit in service calls, and most of my stuff are not emergency things. They're usually just, hey, I've got this when just come whenever you can. So if I'm doing the bigger jobs, I might just go do one in the afternoon whenever I get done with however far I want to get on that job that day. Or I might go do one early in the morning, like because somebody needs me to be there before they leave for work, and I'll do it and then go do my job. And then some days I'll just run just those and I might do 4 or 5 or something like that. But most of the time, most of my days are working on a bigger job and then fitting in service calls, 1, maybe 2 a day throughout the week. It just depends on what I think I'm gonna do on that day. Most of my customers are kind of the type where I say, "I'm gonna be working at this job, and I will text you or call you in the afternoon whenever I get done at that job this week on every day that I get done. And like I'll text you, say on Monday, and if you're available for me to come out there, say good, yeah, that's great. If you want to come, go ahead and come. And I said, if you're not available, whenever I text you, don't worry about it. I got other stuff I can go do. I'll text you again the next day and say, hey, are you available or home or whatever for me to get in and do whatever it is. That's on residential stuff. Commercial stuff's easier to me because I just go over there and like I know they're open. That's why I like commercial stuff. You can make more money in commercial, but it's also a little bit easier scheduling wise commercial work is for me than residential because residential people are typically, unless they're retired, they're working and then you got to work around getting in and out of their house and everything else, which a lot of times people just give me the code if they've got a keypad or they'll leave me a key somewhere because they know me. I'm doing work for people that typically either know me or they know somebody that knows me, somebody I've done work for a while. Not going to waste the money on the EVO. I was 2 hours away and the starter went out in the van, had them put a battery in also. It lasted almost 6 Deca brand. Thinking about getting the TPLD-P, pretty neat bag that dropped, but not a lot of people are talking about it. I said the thing about the P bags is to take in consideration again. I love my MCTP and I'd still buy it in a heartbeat, but it does make it a really big bag, this direction to have those 2 pouches on the side. And again, they're not removable, so they're there. Like, so I don't know if a better option is not to have a bag where you can take 2 meter pouches and take them on and off. That way, if you want it, it just gives you more versatility. If you're not somebody who has a bunch of bags, like I don't have to worry about that because I got this bag and that bag. But the nice thing about having all MCTs, like me having the Evo, the Blackout, this one, like I can just take them V swap panels out and have the same setup and just be like, I just want to run that bag instead of this one and just move all my stuff over like that. Like it doesn't take 2 seconds. But the pouches are nice to have them all the time. It gives you a lot of good room. It's a good place to put meters and all that stuff. But it does make a drastic difference in the size of the bag. A lot of money in commercial. Most of the jobs I do are commercial. Yeah, they're spending other people's money, so they're not as gripey about what stuff costs and all that stuff too. It's a little bit easier just dealing with them. Now, some commercials not as fun because, like, especially if it's a business that's open during the day and something's got to be fixed, like while that business is going on. There's a lot of extra work involved to make sure you're not affecting the flow of their business sometimes, where that may not be the case in residential, but it's still I like commercial probably better. I definitely like commercial better as far as jobs, like general contracting jobs. Now, service work, I don't mind either one. I would not buy a P bag again. Don't forget to give you a thumbs up before you leave today. Appreciate that. Finally done. Been listening in. There's that Bowery boy on here now that we're about to leave. I hope I don't need a P bag when I get old. I actually got the SC45 from my spring promo because they ran out of meter bags. So you ended up getting SPMC and an SC45. So you got a couple of those little. You'll like those too, I think. I mean, I think that those things are pretty handy. These are pretty handy. I don't use the drill one as much because I've got different ways that I hook my drill on to like holster, spider tool pins. I prefer that over like a holster. But these are pretty handy to put in your pockets and stuff just to hold a couple tools. So you would have got one of those with your SC45 and one with your SPMC. Some of those subcontractors are tight on the pennies and more flexible on scheduling. Yeah, I like the fact that they're open while I want to be working. Like, because I'll have some homeowners be like, "I'll be home at like 4:30 or 5." I'm like, "Well, that's good for you because this guy doesn't work at 4:30 and 5." I don't work. I'm usually at home by, like, if I'm not home by 2, I'm pretty sad. The UB3B is a fantastic HVAC service bag. Speaking of drill holsters, do you like the ones like the Pen Pal, that kind that hang off your belt and bounce around? I like the Pen Pal one. I prefer the Spider tool pen just because I've got more holsters and it was a little bit cheaper from more. Really, the holstery and the Spider tool pen are pretty similar. I kind of like the Spider tool pen a little bit better, but it's also because I've used it longer and I've got a bunch of them and I got a bunch of the holsters and I've gotten used to it. But I kind of like the getting it on and off with my thumb, unlocking it a little bit better than doing the twist on the Pen Pal and all that. Both of them are good though. Like, if you think you like one over the other, they're both good. But I like mine. I use my Noster subcompact on my. I prefer it really over on my M12. Again, this on M12, I don't like it on my M18 stuff because the way that it um, goes in, it's hard to get it off, and then you got to flip it up and catch it. The way this is, I unclip this, and it's already right there in the spot for me to grab it and pull the trigger and use it. So I love this on the M12. I like the Spider tool pins and stuff better on my M18 and that size, that type of a tool where the belt loop screws like down there by the battery. So it's different for different stuff, but there are times where I put the Spider pin on this still and use it. I swap them around. Just depends on what the job is. The nicest thing to me about this is I don't have to have one of these. So if I want to clip it on my back pocket, I can clip it on my back pocket. If I want to move it on my vest up here, I can move it on my vest. I can put it in my pants pocket, and I don't have to like move this because I don't have to have one of these. That's the biggest advantage to this to me. And I'll go ahead and show you this. This will be a teaser of what fits in this right here. This little notch right here too is like perfect for this. But like that, the Nosters on that's pretty nice. And then it even gives you enough thumb room to stick your thumb in there to take it off. But see, this is what I was talking about. Like with this on here, I can do this and pull that off, and it's already in the position for me to use it. So if I've got it clipped that way, that's how it works. Versus on the M18, or if you got a battery like this and you had it clipped like that, you've got to unclip it, grab it by the battery kind of while you're unclipping it, and then flip it up and then start using it. So that's why I don't like these on the bigger ones. But that thing does fit on there like it's meant to be. Like fits down in a little groove and everything. So there's your teaser of what fits in the EVO pouch video that I'm going to film probably, hopefully tomorrow afternoon. If not, I'll do it Saturday. But how do you like the Atlas tool pouch clip you reviewed the other day? Yeah, it's pretty good. Now you've probably used I've got the other pouch in here. Yeah, my other one's in my truck. But like you've probably used this, which somebody did say you'd have to go in here to. Well, I guess you could flip it upside down. Like you can actually click it in and lock it. I think. Yeah, upside down too, to where it's a little bit easier to access that that clip to unlock it if you want to. So you could do that, but that makes this backwards the way that it's kind of set up. So you'd either have to clip it up through your belt like this, which isn't a big deal. Matter of fact, that might be easier, right? Honestly. And then you can lock it. I've got those little pieces in there, but then you'd lock it, but then your button's here to where you just push that down. So that might actually be the better way to run that. Makes it a little easier to get on and off. But I mean, this is I like everything about it. That's not as fast to put on as the magnet on the EVO pouch, wherever I did with that. Hidden in here somewhere in the mix. All right, here. you know, this is just a matter of sticking it down through here and letting it close. I don't have to do any locking, unlocking, clipping, unclipping. And then it's also still not as fast as any pouch you got that just has this. But once you have it on, like if you run the same belt every day and you leave that thing on your belt, or like that's what I'm going to use, is it's going to stay on. Like I'm going to leave this clip just on my service vest, this part of it. And then I won't ever have to take that on and off anymore. So it's going to be just as fast for me because I'm going to be if you're going to have to take this on and off of your belt every time and everything else, it's a little bit more involved than some of the other stuff, but it's still it's a good system though. It's definitely way better than the Velcro stuff. I don't mind it. The thing I like about the magnet ones is that you can, even if I don't want to put like in the instance where I said this is taller, higher up on your waist than the MPs, but I can also just take it and put it in my pants pocket and let the magnet hold it. And now it's at maybe that same height as, let's see, let's put this on my belt. So if you're more, it's actually quite a bit lower, but this is actually, I like this. I like this probably even better than this. I definitely like it better than that. You just have some different options to put this. Like, yeah, I like that height right there. That's pretty nice. But that depends on what pants you're wearing that day. Your pockets might be a little different, but you can also take them, slide that in your back pocket. If I got a back pocket on these pants, yeah. Different options. Again, there's other places the clip's going to work where this doesn't, and then there's places where this is going to work where a clip doesn't. So it just depends on what it is you do, what you wear. Who do I think I am, Carlos? I know I got to get off here. Y'all keep talking. Atlas 46 is awesome for electrical work. Nice teaser spoiler. That one's easy to get on off your clothes. I get mine. If you're talking about the Noster, I don't have any problem with it. I do like the subcompact better. I wear it on my everything. Like I all the time I'm doing work, I'll clip it on my back pocket all the time, just so it's not in my way if I'm doing stuff where I only need to grab it real fast. The nicest thing about this one is, like, if you're doing something with two hands and you need to hold something, you can just, I clip mine on my vest. It's right there. I don't have to take my hand all the way around, try to find something. I really like it. And once they came out with that subcompact, I liked it even better. Joey After Dark. Here's, I think, season Cedar. Must have had an energy drink earlier. Now I should be conked out. I had a bunch of numbing stuff and everything else today. Done got my shirt tucked in weird though. But I'm gonna get off here, go in there and make Miss Maintenance some popcorn, I guess. Heaven forbid she do something for herself. Man, to go flip the breaker. But we'll see y'all on Saturday's Guess the Trade is Thiago and its Velocity bags, like a Velocity BP50 and a drill pod case. And I think he's also got a Tough Built pouch. And he's also from somewhere else, just like David from a couple weeks ago. So there's another guess in there as far as what is it that he does. So, but I'm probably going to, again, I'll film another what fits that thing this weekend sometime, maybe put it out Sunday or something. So we'll see y'all on the next one.